Today, I'd like to give you my exact timeline of what I would do from closing my very first copywriting client all the way to making $25,000 every single month from copywriting. I am on my way to the park right now here in Tokyo. And on the way to the park, I thought, let me just share with you exactly what I would do step by step. And you can come with me and enjoy the scenery. Let's get into it.
Hey guys, so today I'm going to be sharing with you my personal timeline for how to go from $0 to $25,000 per month as a copywriter. If I could go back in time to the day I first started writing copy and give my past self some advice, it would be to follow this timeline to the T. Now please note that what I'm about to share with you is my personal roadmap based on the last 8 years of building my copywriting business, coaching hundreds of copywriters in my private dojo, and learning what actually works versus what sounds good on paper. I've seen too many copywriters get distracted, chase secrets that don't make a difference, and burn out trying to take shortcuts. So this timeline is designed to help you avoid all the most common mistakes and build a sustainable, profitable copywriting business in as short of a time as possible. I also want to share with you some specific income targets and timeframes because I know people are always wondering, how long will this take? And, what can I expect at what stages of the journey? But realistically, everyone's going to progress at a different speed. Some people are going to be able to blaze through some parts of this timeline way faster than I predicted, and it's going to take other people a lot longer. Of course, everything depends on how much time you have each day to commit to mastering copywriting and getting clients. So keep that in mind and don't get too caught up in the specific numbers, just focus on completing each phase properly before moving to the next one. Let's get started. I've broken down the process of reaching $25,000 per month into 3 distinct phases. Phase 1 should take around 6 to 12 months, Phase 2 another 12 to 18 months, and Phase 3 another 12 to 24 months. So we're looking at roughly 3 to 4 years total to reach $25,000 per month consistently. Phase 1, launch. Goal, first $1,000 client. Part 1, build your foundation. First, you need to develop your core copywriting skill set. This isn't about learning every fancy technique or the latest secrets from gurus, it's about mastering the fundamentals that actually make copy convert. Pick one type of copy to focus on initially. I recommend email copy because it's always in demand, easier to get started with, and you can build long-term relationships with clients. If you try to be a full-stack copywriter right out of the gate, you'll end up being very average at every type of copy, and then nothing you write will impress business owners. So take a few months to learn one type of copy, then once you're at least a 7 out of 10, move on to learning the next one. Next, follow some proven copywriters. Not the loudest voices or the biggest promises, but people who are actually great writers. I have a video on this channel where I share the top copywriters I learned from that I'd recommend you start with. Study their content, break down how they do what they do, and learn their tactics. Next, join one good copywriting course or program. Not 10 different courses, just get one mentor who teaches you what you need. I'm obviously biased towards my own coaching, but like I said, I have a video where I share all of the copywriters I'd recommend you learn from. So please be sure to check that one out, and also watch some of the interviews on my channel where I interview lots of successful copywriters every single week. Now, here's how to think about courses. They don't make you money because you make you money. Nothing will make you money except yourself. But you can use courses to get better at stuff that you need to learn how to do to make a lot more money. So just remember that you make money for yourself. I've seen people spend $20,000 or more in their career on courses and coaches, and they're still struggling, they're still broke because they never relied on themselves to generate income. They relied on a course or a guru or something else other than themselves. No good. So pick one coach, go through their material, and implement everything you need to go make money. Now let's talk about client getting. Learn one way to close clients and master it. Whether that's cold emails, referrals, or LinkedIn. Pick one strategy and get really good at it before trying others. Most copywriters fail because they try 5 different client getting methods poorly instead of one method really well. They send 10 cold emails and then they give up. Then they try LinkedIn for a week and then they give up. They try Facebook groups, they give up on that as well, and then they try job boards and then they give up again. That's not persistence, that's just distraction. If you choose cold email, for example, send 1,000 emails before you decide it doesn't work. If you choose to use social media, post consistently and send direct DMs for 90 days before you give up. Give your chosen method a real chance to work. I would say you should give a client getting strategy around 2 months of consistent daily effort before you discount it or write it off. Also, get your approach reviewed by a successful copywriter so you know you're taking good action. I recently started working with a new copywriting client who was sending so many cold emails but still not getting any results, and he was wondering what was wrong. But when I looked at them, it was really obvious where the gaps were. So make sure that when you do a strategy, not only do you stay consistent, but also make sure to get feedback from the coach that you chose. So choose a coach, choose a good strategy, take action every single day to improve at both your copywriting skill and your client getting abilities. And to improve, you need to be writing copy every single day, even if it's just for practice. And when I say practice, I mean you should be practicing for real businesses. Don't just practice random imaginary copy. Take a business that's got proven copy out there and start practicing with it. So here's what the daily action steps could look like when you're in this phase. You could be spending 30 minutes a day writing copy, even if it's just spec copy for potential clients. And then you spend another 30 minutes on client acquisition, sending outreach, engaging on social media, or whatever your chosen strategy is to get clients. That's it. 1 hour per day split between getting better and getting clients. If you could do more than an hour a day, I would highly recommend you do, because just 30 minutes of writing copy and 30 minutes of client getting is not going to be enough to get clients very quickly. It will come slowly. The results will take some time, even if you're consistent. So instead, I'd recommend pushing 2 hours or even 3 hours a day, because as soon as you get that first paying client, now suddenly you're getting paid to do stuff that you were doing for free. And this is going to speed up your progress really quickly. So this initial study phase is not a passive phase. You can't just consume content, watch YouTube videos, and expect to get results. You need to be actively writing, actively reaching out, and actively improving. The biggest mistake I see people make in phase 1 is analysis paralysis. People spend 6 months learning and never start doing. Or they write one email for an imaginary business, don't get hired because they applied for like 5 gigs with a bad application, and they decide they need to learn some more, study some more, passively consume stuff before they continue applying or continue writing. Stop learning, start doing. You'll learn more from writing 100 average emails than watching 100 hours of training on how to write emails. Part 2, getting your first real client. Phase 1 is complete once you close your first client that pays you over $1,000. Not $50 per email, not some tiny project where they're testing you out. I'm talking about a real client who pays you some real money for some real work. For me, my first client paid me $1,500 for a sales page. But for you, it could be $1,500 email sequence, a $2,000 per month retainer, or even a $3,000 autoresponder project. The exact deal doesn't really matter. All that matters is that it's significant enough that you and your client take the project seriously. Here's why the $1,000 threshold really matters. A client who pays you $1,000 is fundamentally different from clients who pay you $100. They understand the value of good copy, they have a budget for marketing, and they're more likely to be professional in how they work with you. Cheap clients will waste your time, micromanage your work, and nickel and dime you on everything. Don't get confused here. $1,000 is still a small amount. In the long term, you want to work with clients who pay a lot more than that, but this is the starting point. Now, getting this first client might take you 3 months if you're really focused and have a lot of time available, but it might take you 12 months if you're working part-time around other priorities and other commitments. It goes back to how much time you can invest per day. So the timeline doesn't matter as much as actually completing this phase properly. So don't get discouraged if this takes longer than you expected. I've coached copywriters who landed their first big client in 2 weeks, and others who took 18 months. The ones who took longer weren't necessarily weak copywriters. Sometimes it's just timing, market conditions, or life circumstances. The biggest differentiator is how consistently you work on your skills and how consistently you approach businesses you want to work with. Most people want to skip ahead to making more money, but if you can't close one $1,000 client, you're not ready for phase 2. This is your rite of passage into the industry. Also, once you've closed your first $1,000 client, you'll be more comfortable with the entire process of finding clients, reaching out, having a sales conversation, scoping projects, writing copy, delivering work, and getting paid. Your first client doesn't have to be perfect. They don't have to be your dream client or in your ideal niche. You just need to prove you can get paid for your copywriting skills. You can get pickier later. Phase 2, optimize. Goal, $12,000 a month. Part 1, upgrading your client base. Now that you've proven you can get paid for your copywriting, it's time to optimize everything. The biggest mistake I see copywriters make in phase 2 is trying to get more clients exactly like their first one. That's not optimization, that's just more of the same. Of course, at first you might get more clients like your first one, but slowly you'll get better and better at finding clients that are really good and systematically replacing the not so good ones. The hard part is when you have to fire low-paying clients because they're taking too much time. But this is crucial, and honestly, it's one of the hardest things for copywriters to do because it requires saying no to some money in the short term to make more money in the long term. For example, if your first client pays you $1,500 for an email sequence, but they're a pain to work with, they don't understand marketing very well, and they constantly change their mind about what they want, that's not a client you want in the long run. You don't want to get more clients like that either. In phase 2, you want to start looking for clients who are already successful, already understand the value of good copy, and have the budget to pay you what you're worth. These are usually businesses doing at least mid-six figures, but I would say ideally you want to get clients at this level that are making 7 figures or more. So how do you identify these clients? Well, they have existing marketing systems in place, they've hired copywriters before, and they don't flinch at your price. Instead, they ask about your process and timeline. You can't get to $12,000 per month working with clients who see copywriting as an expense instead of an investment. I've seen copywriters try to scale with these budget clients, and they just end up burning out and working 60-hour weeks with very mediocre pay. Here's a practical way I would suggest you upgrade your client base. Every time you take on a new client, they should be better than your worst current client in at least 2 ways. Maybe they pay more and communicate better. Or maybe they pay the same but have a bigger audience and better systems. Always be looking for these types of clients. Always be upgrading. And yes, that means in this phase you will probably fire a lot of clients. I did, and most of the copywriters I work with have as well. But keeping bad clients prevents you from finding good ones. You can't serve everyone well, and your energy is better spent on clients who value what you do. Part 2. Skill development and feedback. Do more of what you did in phase 1 to get better, but now take it up a notch. Learn all types of copy within your chosen specialty. If you're focusing on email copywriting, learn broadcast emails, autoresponders, promotional sequences, and nurture sequences. And then go beyond the just copy part of it and start learning segmentation, deliverability, and other email processes. Or if you're focusing on another type of copy, the same principle applies. This doesn't mean abandoning your focus, it means going deeper. Instead of just knowing how to write daily emails, learn how to write welcome sequences that turn subscribers into buyers. Learn how to write promotional sequences that don't feel pushy. Learn how to segment lists so you can send more relevant messages. Also, get feedback from a coach or mentor weekly. This is non-negotiable if you want to improve quickly. You can't see your own blind spots, so without feedback, you'll keep making the same mistakes over and over. I still invest tens of thousands per year into coaching because I know the value of having someone pointing out what's missing. Every copywriter I know who's making serious money has a coach or a mentor they work with regularly. What kind of feedback are you looking for? Good feedback looks like this. It's specific, actionable, and focused on making you better, not making you feel good. A coach who tells you, "Great job," isn't helping you improve. You want someone who will tell you, "This email is too long. This hook doesn't really grab attention. You buried the call to action," stuff like that. Also, build a good network of copywriters and business owners. Join communities, attend virtual events, and start building genuine relationships. Most of your best opportunities will come through your network, not from cold outreach. But here's the key. Focus on giving value, not getting value. Share what you know. Help other copywriters when you can. Make introductions between people who you think should know each other. Be genuinely useful to your network and they'll be useful to you. Part 3. Building credibility. Start engineering referrals from your existing clients systematically. This should be a process, not something you hope happens accidentally. I teach what I call the Forever Client System to my private clients, and it's a way to systematically turn clients into referrals. Here's the basic idea. Every client interaction you have should either get them results or build your relationship with them. When you deliver great work, follow up to make sure they know how great it was. When they get results, capture those results and ask who else they know who might need similar help. Most copywriters are terrible at doing this. They do good work, the client is happy, and then nothing. They never ask for referrals, they never follow up on results, they never even let the client know about the results that they get, and they never leverage the success that they created. Most importantly, they never even work on developing any relationships within the team. That's where all the people are that you can make friends with and that you can get more clients from later. That's leaving a lot of money on the table. So screenshot and document every result you get for clients. Open rates, click rates, revenue generated, testimonials, capture everything. You'll need the social proof to command higher rates and attract better clients. Also create a wins folder where you save every piece of positive feedback, every result screenshot, every testimonial. When a client tells you an email performed well, ask for the specific metrics. If you can, get access to the system yourself so you can get those metrics without even having to ask. When they mention the revenue a campaign generated, get the exact numbers. This serves 2 purposes. It helps you understand what's working so you can replicate it, and it gives you proof that you can show to future potential clients. Social proof is one of the most powerful tools for closing higher paying clients. Part 4. Execution. Repeat this process until you're consistently making $12,000 per month. And this usually means having 2 to 4 premium clients paying you $3,000 to $5,000 each per month. Notice I said consistently. 1 month at $12K doesn't count. You need to be able to rely on making $12K every month, which means having stable retainer clients, not just project work. Do not rush this phase. I see too many copywriters try to jump to $25,000 when they haven't even stabilized at $12,000. You'll end up back at square one if you don't build a solid foundation here. You'll lose good clients and relationships that could have paid you hundreds of thousands over the course of your career. And here's what stabilized looks like. You have predictable monthly income from retainer clients. You have a system for getting referrals that work. You also have a proven client getting system to get clients without waiting for referrals. You have in-depth knowledge of marketing on the internet. You have a broader copy skill stack and some general marketing skills. You're confident in your ability to deliver results, and you're not stressed about where your next client will come from. This phase typically takes 12 to 18 months because you're not just learning new skills, you're building systems and relationships, and that takes a lot of time to mature. Be patient with the process, but be aggressive about the execution. The biggest bottleneck in phase 2 is not usually skills or knowledge, it's confidence. You know enough to do great work, but you doubt yourself, undercharge, and accept less than ideal clients because you're afraid better ones won't want to work with you. Work on your confidence as much as your copy skills. Join communities where you can see other copywriters at your level or slightly ahead. Get comfortable talking about your results. Practice selling yourself. Phase 3. Acceleration. Goal: $25,000 per month. This is the phase most copywriters never get to because they get comfortable with average paying clients on level 2 and they don't want to push harder to take their skills to the next level. You can't get to $25,000 a month by just adding loads of 3K clients to your client roster. You need to completely transform how you position yourself and who you work with. Part 1. Premium positioning. Only take on premium clients from now on. Say no to everything else, even if it means turning down easy money. You can't get to $25,000 working with budget clients, period. It's just math. If you're working with clients who can only afford $2,000 to $3,000 per month, you'd need 8 to 12 clients to hit $25,000. That's not sustainable. So to make $25K a month, you need to raise your standards and have the confidence to walk away from opportunities that aren't right for you. Build up some cash reserves so you have the power to say no. I recommend having at least 3 to 6 months of expenses saved. This gives you the luxury of being selective. Here's what premium positioning looks like in practice. You only work with businesses doing at least 7 figures annually. Most often, they make multiple 7 figures or more. And you only take on clients where you can create measurable, significant impact, not just writing better emails for them. You charge based on value created, not time spent. And you present yourself as a strategic partner, not as a service provider. The language you use changes completely. Instead of, "I'll write your emails," you say, "We can reduce your acquisition costs and get much more calls on your sales team's calendar with strategic email marketing." Just for example, you don't have to actually say that, but that would be something that you could say. Or instead of, "I charge X amount per email," you could say, "My clients typically see a 200% increase in email revenue within 90 days. Or something like that. The convo changes depending on what you're saying on the call and a lot of other things. But it's something to do with what I just said. Basically, the way you have sales calls is going to be very, very different to when you were back at $12,000 a month. At the acceleration phase, you want to learn all the core types of copywriting so that you're a full stack copywriter. And you also want to start learning additional marketing skills and add them to your tool belt so that you can go above and beyond for your clients. Learn about funnels, email marketing automation, conversion optimization, attribution, or whatever makes sense for your niche. Become more valuable by solving bigger problems. At this level, clients don't just want someone who can write good copy, they want someone who can think strategically about their entire marketing system. They want you to spot opportunities they're missing, suggest improvements to their funnel, and help them think through their entire customer journey. Part 2. Brand building. If you haven't already, then it's time to build a recognized personal brand in your market. The thing most people don't realize is that whether you post on social media or not, you already have a personal brand. And that is your reputation among colleagues and clients. Your personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. So the power of posting on social media or building an email list is not about going viral, it's about taking more control over the narrative of what people say about you. So instead of letting others say what you are and aren't, or who you are, when you post, you get to show the world what you are, who you are, and what you want to be known for. This means consistently sharing valuable content, positioning yourself as an expert, and becoming known for something specific. To get to $25,000 per month, you can't compete on price or availability. You have to stand out. Now, when I say brand building, I'm not talking about posting motivational quotes or showing off lifestyle photos. I mean, you need to share your journey, your lessons, what you're up to, the kind of stuff you're working on with clients, that kind of thing. It's like you need to document your wins, break down your strategies, and help other people understand what makes you different to everyone else.
Your content shouldn't be teachy. It's about demonstrating that you're good. Instead of saying, I'm an amazing expert email copywriter, or here are the 3 best subject lines. Instead, just share a case study showing how you increased a client's email revenue by 300%. Instead of posting generic marketing tips, share specific techniques you personally used for clients to generate more sales. The goal is to become the person people think of when they need copywriting and marketing help. When someone in your network hears about a business that needs help, they should immediately think of you. It takes time and consistency to build a personal brand, but it's the foundation of premium pricing and getting to $25K a month. To get to $25K a month, also add 2 more client getting strategies to your arsenal. If you've been relying on referrals, maybe add organic content and speaking at events. If you've been doing cold outreach, maybe add partnerships and joint ventures. Diversify your lead sources so you're not dependent on just one method. At this level, you need multiple ways for premium clients to discover you. Premium clients don't typically respond to cold outreach the same way smaller clients do. They're more likely to hire based on referrals, reputation, or after seeing you speak or write about your expertise. Speaking is particularly powerful at this level. When you speak at an event or on a podcast, you're automatically positioned as an expert. The audience assumes you know what you're talking about, which makes sales conversations with potential clients a lot easier. And when business owners do their research on you, they see you as an authority among your peers. Think about it. How many copywriters are being interviewed and speaking on stage? Only the best, right? So engineer that outcome for yourself so you're on stage with the best, and soon you'll become one of the best too. Partnerships can be incredibly valuable too. Partner with agencies, consultants, marketers, or other service providers who work with your ideal clients. They can refer clients to you and you can refer clients to them. It's a much more sophisticated way to do networking, and it works really, really well for premium services. Part 3. Advanced skill development. Start showing others how to do what you do. This serves 2 purposes. It builds your brand among your network, and it also attracts premium clients who are willing to pay top dollar. Also, in addition to improving as a marketer, work on your leadership skills, social skills, and closing skills. These will be the most powerful skills to improve at this level. At this level, you're often dealing with bigger businesses with higher stakes, so your ability to communicate value, diagnose and communicate problems, and close deals becomes critical. You also need to get comfortable talking about big numbers, both the investments that your clients are going to make in you, and also the kinds of numbers that big businesses expect in their business. If you're not comfortable talking about a 10K monthly retainer, for example, you'll never be able to close one. You have to get comfortable first. In my experience helping hundreds of copywriters to reach this level, the ones that make it all have a lot of strong self-confidence. You have to believe that you can make it. That's going to be the biggest differentiator. So join masterminds and attend high-level events to work on your skills and build your network. High-level masterminds are where millionaires and people working with millionaires hang out and connect. Events and masterminds are where you meet people who can transform your business with just a single introduction. They're where you learn what premium clients are actually thinking about and actually worrying about and talking about. The investment is significant. Good masterminds can cost up to $10,000 per year, sometimes even more. But the return can be exponential. Just closing one client could be a 100x return on your money, and sometimes even more. But that's why this is something I only recommend that you start focusing on once you're making 6 figures per year and you have a lot of skills and income already. Part 4. Execution. Repeat until you're consistently at $25,000 per month. This might mean having 3 to 4 premium clients at 6 to 8K each, or 2 clients at 10 to 12K each, plus some project work. The exact structure depends on your preferences and your client needs, and also which businesses that you end up closing. At this level, you're not just a copywriter anymore. You're a strategic partner and usually a trusted marketing advisor. Your clients rely on you for more than just writing copy. They come to you for strategic advice. They trust your judgment on marketing decisions, and they see you as an extension of their team. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It may take you months or years of consistently delivering results, thinking strategically, and proving your value beyond just the copy you write. But once you make this transition, business relationships become much more stable and valuable, and business owners stop treating you like a commodity. The key success metrics at this level aren't just monthly income, they're how much you enjoy the work you're doing for clients, the results you're getting for clients, and how many hours you're working per week. You want clients who stay with you for years, not months. You want clients who actively refer other premium clients to you. And you want to have enough free time to enjoy your life outside of business. Because at $25K per month, you should be working less, not more. The whole point of charging premium rates is that you can afford to be selective about who you give your time. If you're working 80 hours a week to make $25,000 per month, you're doing it wrong. The transition from phase 2 to phase 3 is as much psychological as it is tactical.
You need to genuinely believe you're worth $25,000 per month before clients will pay you that much. You need to carry yourself like someone who solves million-dollar problems, not someone who just writes email copy. This phase typically takes 12 to 24 months because you're not just scaling your income, you're fundamentally changing your position in the market, and you're also embracing a very new and often unfamiliar identity. You might make more than everyone else in your family. Heck, you might be the highest earner you know in your personal life completely. And you're moving from being one of many copywriters to being one of the best copywriters who can deliver transformational results for their clients at scale. So be patient with the process, but be relentless about execution. At this level, every decision matters, every client interaction, every piece of content, every speaking opportunity, they all contribute to building your reputation and your future. Final thoughts. Throughout every single part of this process, you should be focused on getting better at your craft. Keep writing, keep learning, keep getting feedback. The money follows the skill, not the other way around. I want to emphasize that there are no shortcuts here. I've seen copywriters try to skip phases and they always end up stuck. You can't fake your way to $25,000 per month. You have to genuinely generate value that is worth charging $25,000 a month to your clients. Also remember that $25,000 per month isn't the end goal, it's just a milestone. Once you reach this level, you can continue growing or you can focus on working less while maintaining your income. The choice is yours. If you're someone who's been copywriting for a while but seems to have skipped one of the phases I talked about today, what should you do? I'd say go back to complete that phase properly. If you've never built a systematic way to get referrals, stop just sending cold outreach and also fix that part of your client success. If you never learned to say no to bad clients, start today. If you never invested in proper coaching, start betting more money on yourself. The fundamentals matter more than the advanced stuff. Always.
All right, so we're here in Shinjuku Park. Thanks so much for coming with, and I hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.